It's race week here on the Isle of Man, and we've got two absolute corkers for you coming up tonight. Later on, the Freewheel and Media Sidecar race one, but before that, the RL360 Superstock race, which going into this one, Cam, was absolutely wide open. Peter Hickman injured and out of action, unfortunately, but recovering on the mend. And the form guide's really open to interpretation because of the quality and the amount of qualifying laps that we've been limited to.
Yeah, that's right, and that's why you'd have to think Davey Todd. I mean, he's done it in Superstock before, he's on a BMW again, and essentially the same bike he rode to victory in the Superbike T2.
And for Dean Harrison on the Honda, showing some good form. With the way that the days worked out, we've got a shortened 2-lap race. Not the best conditions, to be perfectly honest. It could suit Dean, the way that he attacks from the first lap.
We've shown in all the other classes how quick he is in that first sector, and with only a 2-lap race, that's going to be key. Also, he's on the Metzler tyre, which seemed to work well off the line in the cooler conditions, and we're looking at a cool race, conditions-wise. Michael Dunlop's on the Dunlop tyre, excellent grip level, but seems to take a little bit longer to come on.
Yeah, well, as I said, this race pushed back because of the iffy conditions today. A 6:30 start in the evening, so it's cool and blustery out there. Not perfect track conditions, and it was reduced to a 2-lapper as well, so lots of question marks. Let's see if we can get some answers. Grace Webb is out on the grid with Lee Johnston.
It's all go, but now the tyre warmers are on, bikes are parked up, and they're ready for this one, aren't they, Lee?
Yeah, and like we were speaking earlier on, quite a lot of these guys have rode these bikes in the Superbike race.
Yeah.
There's probably only 5 or 6 guys on the grid now that are on their outright, well, sorry, back on the Superstock bike from the Superbike. So yeah, most of these bikes have had, or most of these riders have had quite a bit of time now having done the Superbike race on the Superstock bike. So it's going to come into play because this is an absolute dash for the cash with 2 laps. You know, it's going to be red hot from the get-go, and any of the guys that are a little bit steadier off the lights are going to struggle in this one. So the likes of Dean Harrison gets off well, we've seen Davey Todd get off well as well, and hopefully making them up. So that's all we want, really. We want the 2 or 3 main contenders to all get a good start and be in the mix right from the get-go.
We'll see if we can get a quick word with Hutchie, who's just walked this way. Hutchie, you're looking strong in qualifying on the Superstock, and it's the bike that you've been used to this week.
Yeah, hopefully we'll have a decent run today. I'd rather have had 4 laps, but it is what it is. We'll get stuck in, and hopefully there's another one that's 4 laps, and then work to the end of the week.
Get stuck in, Hutchie. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's what we like to hear. Yeah, a few contenders there that we might see because their qualifying times were looking really good this week. But I think it's safe to say that Davey Todd's probably the one to look out for in this one. Winner of the last Superstock race and quickest in qualifying.
Yeah, just running on now to Conor Cummins. He actually had an issue in the lap the guys got to go out and just check the conditions with this morning. I think it was a cam sensor, so he got stopped at Crosby Jump, so a little bit unfortunate for him there. But yeah, like I said, it's another one of the few guys that actually has a proper superbike as well as Conor.
Yeah, there's definitely a few to look out for as we make our way along the grid. Davey Todd there on number 8 that we mentioned. He'll be taking to his Superstock that he's really comfortable on as well. Just the Superbike engine is different for his Superbike. The Superstock chassis and setup is what he's most comfortable with, and like we say, he's probably the favourite for this one.
Yeah, it's pretty much the exact same bike, other than that tuned mower. And I don't know if they changed the gearbox. That's something I would have struggled with a little bit. So I can't see them. I'd say they would probably run a standard gearbox, so all the gear and things are the same. So yeah, it's going to be an exciting one, and we're going to throw over to the commentators right now.
Let's get to our race commentators, Cam Donald and Andrew Coley.
Grace and Lee teed this one up nicely. It is a dash for cash. There is no time to get yourself bedded in. You've got to go right from the off, right from the grandstand, right down the hill, and through all the incredible sectors that make up the brilliant Isle of Man TT course. 37.73 miles, just twice around this time. Led off by this man, the legend, John McGuinness, on the factory Honda. Full focus. You can see actually there as well how low the sun is in the sky. Just pleased to see the sun after the week we've had. Second off, Davo Johnson on the Kawasaki.
Davo rode very well in that first Superbike race. He'll be very comfortable back out in the Superstock class, I'm sure.
Harrison on the line and Dunlop behind. This is going to be a decent battle, isn't it, Cam?
Well, the first two races of TT week, anything to go by, this is sure to be a tough battle on board Dean Harrison. Look at that clean screen, no bugs on it yet as he rockets off down Bray Hill. A little hole screwed in that screen just to equalise the air so the rider's helmet doesn't get puffed around too much.
Shaking his head up over Agos on the first lap. He's absolutely on it. There is no time not to be because this man is chasing him down the hill. Wow, that was Michael Dunlop. We're now looking at James Hillier as well. Lots of riders in the mix for this.
Yeah, there certainly is. Look at James. Look how much his body is getting beaten around aboard the Muck-Off Racing Honda. Yeah, this has got to be the race favourite, doesn't it, Andrew? Oh, listen to that launch control kicking in as he rockets off the line.
He'd be feeling fantastic, won't he, after the Superbike win, of course, the Prix. He won the last race of the last TT, wins the first race of this one. He's on the favourite machinery so far, but Dean Harrison has been proving all week in practice that that Honda is very capable.
Davey Todd over Agos. Look at the big aero, the scoops, the wings, if you like, on the front of that M1000RR BMW. Just holds that bike down on the road, giving it a huge amount of downforce.
Todd through Quarter Bridge. That's the first time you're leaning the bike over hard on the right-hand side. And there you go, look at that. You can see the red lights coming up on the top of the dash as he gets towards the high end of the revs. Ian Hutchinson off the line.
Again, you can just hear that launch control. That's standard. These are production bike. They have launch control standard. Quite incredible. The electronic aids that come standard on these bikes straight from the showroom these days. They're so technologically advanced.
Thing is, if you want to win at the TT, your stock bike's got to be really good now, as all the manufacturers are wise to the fact that basically they've got to provide top kit for these guys. 175 miles an hour as he comes down to the braking zone at Quarter Bridge for the first time. Straight off the start line, straight up through the gears. Incredible. Superstock TT. We are underway here. Harrison over the crest, elbows out, riding with intention.
Using that body position, so he's sort of edging himself over the edge of the screen to help muscle the bike through those turns.
Oh, a bit wide. Dunlop now rear. That's the same place he was moving the rear around earlier in the week, but looking comfy already. And again, he uses all the road on the exit too. Through comes Josh Brooks. Behind him, Davey Todd closed the gap down on Brooks already. So Todd is on a mission too. All our favourites, to me, Cam, look like they're on it immediately.
They certainly are, and it's impressive because they haven't had a lot of time on these Superstock bikes this week. Davey Todd on board, braking hard, Ballot Crane. Eases that brake off, picks the top throttle up. Look on the left. See the pit boards there. Yeah. That's where the riders will get their first signal as they head up to Ballyspur.
Into Glen Helen, they're getting their first signals, we're getting our first splits. Actually later than they are. McGuinness plus 9.2 on Harrison, the leader. Davo Johnson and McGuinness very close together. And talking to Davo Johnson, Harrison is in behind him now, so he's going to want to get through here as quick as he can. This is the uphill section out of Glen Helen.
Winding up on the Conquer straight. Davo had a good 5th place finish in the first Superbike race on this same stock machine. Ooh, the Kawasaki ain't slow. Benno gets the slipstream on the way past. Now look at this for commitment.
Michael Dunlop into, and he's 1.7 down. Hillier's in P2, so Harrison leads by 5.3. Dunlop's only 3rd.
Wow, we did not expect to see that. We know Dean has been fast out of the blocks in these first couple of races, but Davey Todd has caught Josh Brooks, and he can't afford to be held up here.
Slides underneath him. I reckon that's his favourite passing place. We've seen it a few times already this week, so Davey Todd is through. And here is Michael Dunlop. So Dunlop then a little off the pace. Davey Todd the leader. So Todd is 0.2 of a second up on Dean Harrison. He has started very quickly indeed. You're on board with Harrison now.
We expected Davey to come out of the block strong. As I said, Dean Harrison has been fast in every other class. We weren't so sure in this Superstock. I mean, this class isn't Honda's strong point generally. The BMW definitely goes into this race as hot favourite.
Harrison and Honda Racing UK will be looking to try and prove the point that they're still on the pace. It's been a while since Honda have won here, Cam.
I think about 2013 since their last Superstock victory, so a long time.
Don't need to say a lot about that, do we? Dunlop through the bottom of Bagaro. Davey Todd with a wheelie on the exit, down and through.
You can see Davey looks quicker. Andrew, he really does. Riding on board, look at his chest bounce around on that fuel tank, trying to bury his head behind the screen. quickly, sits up to brake.
How much of a difference does sitting up make in terms of the physicality of slowing the bike down as an air brake?
Incredible. As you sit up, you feel that force, the breeze against your helmet, against your neck, against your chest.
Pushing back, helping slow the bike down. Balaf Bridge. Harrison is catching up with his teammate John McGuinness. A quick glance across at the split times. I reckon we're 50-50 on BMWs and Hondas in the top 10, Cameron, so this is a manufacturer battle at stake here as much as a rider battle.
It certainly is, and I see Dino just got his second pit board on the left-hand side now. I wonder if he realises just how close he is to the lead of this Superstock TT.
Chatting with Dean Harrison the other day, I was fascinated by the fact he said his pit boards vary by where the boys are watching that day, which I just thought was brilliant. I mean, obviously still slow places, but yeah, amazing.
All right, we're watching Dino here coming through Quarry Bends. He's in behind John McGuinness. He's going to want a slingshot past him as now we're on Solby Straight, longest straight on the course. Pulls out of the draft.
Lovely job.
190.
6-7, it pinged to a 7, it just pinged 197 as he came out the slipstream as his teammate. Here comes Dunlop now, sits up, oh look. Top speeds, there you go, 195.536 is what the speed trap says, tiny bit different than what the telemetry says. We'll go with the speed trap. That's a person at the side of the road measuring it. Got to be brave to stand at the end of this straight, I can tell you.
Quarry Bends, Davey Todd. Look at that white line. Oh, listen to the revs change as he rolls over on the tyre. That profile changes. And it's squirming on that back tyre. So we come back to see Connor Cummings launching it over the jump.
All tucked in as well as he comes down. You see the marks in the road. Just a little sit up, pitch it in over the jump now. Ian Hutchinson. Hutchie was saying, wasn't he, earlier in the week, he wasn't that comfortable over the jumps.
No, he wasn't. He felt like the bike was sitting on the rear a little bit. He wanted to get his weight forward. They've made some modifications to both the seat unit and the suspension to get him a bit more comfortable on that BMW.
Through Quarry Bends as well. We are now up to Ramsey Hairpin. Harrison using all the road. Davey Todd look at extended his lead at Black Bridge out to a second. Dean Harrison comes through. He will show us the leader, of course, until Todd comes through. Remember, Todd running at number 8 will be a little way further down on the road.
Still a lot of damp patches on the road, a lot of leaves about. Now Dean Harrison is the street sweeper. He's first out there to go through these conditions. As we ride on board, James Hillier through that same section now. Working the bike left to right, tucked in, sit up hard on the brakes, all the way back to first gear.
Right, here comes Dunlop. This is what we're looking for in terms of the splits. Dunlop is 13.3 off Harrison, and it's Davey Todd. Todd comes in and he's 2 seconds up. So Todd has extended his lead during this first lap. 0.2 up to a second, now up to 2 seconds as we get to the Ramsey hairpin.
Yeah, it's not too much of a surprise. I think Andrew expect him to go well, but we did expect Michael Dunlop to maybe be a little bit closer on this first lap. He's making the job hard for himself.
This is up to Whitegates. And then Stella Maris on the run to the hairpin with Connor Cummins.
Change of manufacturer and team for Connor this year with the Burrows Engineering Arcade Racing outfit. Oh, he locks it in, but what a magnificently turned out bike and rider team that is.
Here is Ian Hutchinson. Cam, there's still a few damp patches out there, obviously, like racing really late in the day. They've been waiting all day to do this. They went on a recce lap earlier today. It was deemed way too wet to be racing. They're out there now, but it's not perfect conditions. The sun's low. Hard work when they've been waiting all day.
Yeah, it certainly is, because there's no time to ease into it. We're not doing a siding lap. They're straight into the race, and this is where knowledge comes into play. They'll know the areas that hold the damp. They'll know the areas that'll be blowy with the wind picking up as this afternoon gets later.
Harrison screaming his way up Halewood Heights. Look at this, 160 miles now, down to 140, 120 into the left hand, 110, look, then back on the gas again. It's so hard to comprehend the average speed. You ever think about the lap record being 136 plus miles an hour? That's an average speed, not a top speed if you're watching at home and thinking, how quick is it? It's very quick.
It certainly is, and those times have been set on BMWs. We haven't seen a Honda stock bike really to be able to compete with that sort of lap speed in this class before. So what can Dean Harrison do today?
Been working hard with the team, hasn't he? Hillier on another Honda. As you say, there's 5 Hondas and 5 BMWs in the top 10. When we looked at the splits at Blackbridge, tucks in again, right down on the tank load. Here comes Harrison. Todd leading by 2.3, so gap's not gone up by much. That's up at the bungalow. Harrison already down to Craig Nabar. Watch here on the left-hand side for the fans on the grass bank. This is a fan favourite place to watch. Oh, he's so close to the grass as well. He's not leaving anything out there.
No, and he can't. This race, 2 laps. It's an absolute sprint from the start.
This is Hillier on the same point, leg off, short circuit start on the brakes. It's bumpy down here too, and in the background that's Davey Todd.
Wow.
Passing Michael Dunlop on lap 1. He's nailed him by Craig Nabar.
That is a psychological blow. It's not often you see Michael Dunlop being passed on road. That is for sure, and he will not like that.
The RL360 Superstock TT Race 1. Dean Harrison blasting onto Glen Crotchery Road. He's in a big fight with Davey Todd. Lee Johnston is down on pit wall.
See Dean Harrison come to interview right now. As he just clicks 6th gear as he crosses the start and finish line and heads off down Bray Hill. But next in the shot should be John. Obviously on his Honda Firebird. David was on his ZX10 Kawasaki, so you'll hear a different note in both of them bikes. But both of these are slightly bigger riders, so the bike should look quite stable through the start and finish line. You can see a little bit of cement dust there in the view. David comes really close into pit lane, but yeah, both bikes looking really steady here. And like I said before, there's a bit of a headwind just coming down the start and finish straight, so that helps the bikes just stay a little bit more planted. And obviously it would be better than having a crosswind just as you hit St Ninian's Crossroads. But all the guys coming through now.
You're on board with Hillier. He gets down to the bottom of Bray Hill. Look at this. Through the compression, up over Agos. That's where it goes light. 165, 170 mile an hour through there. Todd in front of Dunlop. Dunlop's going with him now. So he had this yesterday, if you remember, in Supersport when, who was it that tagged onto the back of him?
Josh Brooks.
It was, yeah. Now he's got Michael Dunlop behind him.
Yeah, you won't feel it as much on the Superbike just because of the amount of horsepower those machines have got.
So we're looking at our splits here in commentary, and it looks like Harrison might have taken a bit back out in the tiny split at the end. Yes, look on your screens here, sector analysis, 1.2. Everything else was pretty even. Harrison lost a bit of time all through the lap, and then at the end, look, he took 7/10 of a second, Crunk Namona, and more again at the grandstand. So Dean Harrison has responded here, and he's closed the gap on Todd.
He has, Andrew. Isn't that interesting? That's the exact same sectors that he was making time up on the Supersport bike. He must be really comfortable in that part of the course on both his Hondas.
Here you can see lap speeds, 133.7 for Todd, 133.6 for Harrison Dunlop, 131.0. So it really is a race between Todd and Harrison out front here.
That is incredible, Andrew. That's the fastest ever Superstock time that Dean Harrison has done. 133.6 from a standing start. That is an incredible time.
And he's made some of that up at the end of the lap, remember, because of the speed Todd was going earlier. So the gap is now 0.4 of a second between Davey Todd and Dean Harrison. Can Todd make it 2 races from 3 here, or is Harrison going to get his first TT win since 2019? He'd be desperate for the win. It would be a popular one in the paddock, but there's 3/4 of a lap plus to go yet.
Yeah, well, he's looking down the barrel of his 33rd podium, but this would only be his 4th win. Could it be the end of Dino being the Nearly Man?
Hillier with Davey Todd and Michael Dunlop closing him down. They won't want to lose any time behind him. It's going to be critical, isn't it? 0.4 of a second, absolutely nothing.
Yeah, Davey Todd will really need to get past James Hillier as quickly as possible.
Let's see the attitude then that Dino's riding with. A lot, I think it's fair to say.
Completely committed, so tight to the bank through Sarah's Cottage. Back on board with Dean's teammate John McGuinness. Such a smooth style. Still very quick. Davo Johnson's closed the 10 seconds behind him. Whether he'll want to pass John or whether he'll just tag on for the ride.
Look at that, what a wonderful view of just how far over they get these bikes on a road surface, remember. Davey Todd is right in there now. This is a 3-bike train. Todd must find a way through. This is his favoured passing point, and again he sneaks it up the inside.
Yeah, he's good at that, and also James being an experienced competitor, the minute he heard or sensed Davey Todd there, he would have just moved over a little bit, let him through.
You can minimise your own time loss, can't you? You don't ever want anybody passing you, but when they're there, you need to let the faster bike go. Just a little roll off at the right point, can cost yourself less time.
No point fighting the inevitable.
Harrison into the lead at Glen Helen. Dean Harrison is 2.3 seconds up the road on Davey Todd. He continues to go quickly here. Each of these sectors now, he's just breaking away, close the gap down. Now he's trying to get away up front.
And I think he's doing it all on his own. Davey Todd did not appear to be held up by James Hillier, so it looks like Dean Harrison is the man setting the pace on this second lap. This is not what we expected to see.
Connor coming through Molyneux, 150 miles an hour as it was pitched in, now up to 165. Look, just as, and then again diving on the brakes, lets the nose run out wide. Wonderful, wonderful onboard action here. As you are looking at Dean Harrison desperately trying to make an escape. There weren't any flies on the screen when he left the start line, but there are now. He is pressing on and trying to extend his advantage.
You just saw his pitboard on the left there, and whoever was holding it was also punching the air. They know that Dean is leading this TT on the final lap.
Big nod of the head from the bike and from Dean as he tucks back in behind the screen.
Andrew, you can almost see that slight change in body language when a rider is leading a TT race and they know it. It just spurs you on with that little extra bit of motivation.
Extra motivation too. P3 in Superbike. Of course, he was P2 in Supersport when Dunlop closed him down. He will not want this one to get away. He's on a mission.
Davo still on John McGuinness's tailpiece as we see Davey Todd, who's now dropped Michael Dunlop. In that battle, he does not want to finish second in this one. He's tasted victory this week. He was the favourite going into this race. He was fastest on that M1000RR during qualifying. He's on the all-new 810 Racing team.
Hutchie with a little head shake, but the bike does look better than it looked earlier on the week. You're on board with him now. Great to see him back on form.
Yeah, lapping quick. Look at that road. There's still damp patches. Left, right. Listen to those revs change. Oh, and wheel spins as he fires it onto the straight. That road now not so clean. We're getting some rubber down, which will allow those grip levels to come up.
Harrison at the hairpin. What is going to be the gap? It was 3.2. Here is his rival Davey Todd on the BMW. He gets past Davo Johnson, so Todd is snuck up the inside of Johnson, hasn't lost any time there.
You're expecting to pass John McGuinness at any second there now, because of course, that's right, John was just ahead of Davo into Schoolhouse.
Really tightly done by Todd. He's had to pass 3 or 4 bikes, and to my eyes has lost barely any time doing so. Dispatched them beautifully.
Oh, so we see Michael Dunlop in the background. He'll be trying to do the same, thread his way through that traffic.
Not so easy, is it, in Ramsey as it is out the open road. Davo Johnson goes to the right of McGuinness and does get through. Does McGuinness know Dunlop's there? Dunlop's not on him just yet. Dunlop has a look to the right side of McGuinness now. Dunlop through past 1.
Wow, this is like short circuit last lap racing between these titans.
Is Dunlop going to have a look into the hairpin? It's very tight, but he does run it up the inside. Nice and late on the brakes, and Dunlop makes the pass. Not strictly in the mix for this one over the damp patch at Ramsey. What are the splits? Plus 1.7 on the sector time. So Harrison has extended the gap to 5. Dean Harrison is 5 seconds up the road. He's just got the mountain to go. It's not enough to roll off the throttle yet, though, Cam.
Oh, it's not nearly enough to roll off the throttle, Andrew. Davey Todd, he is a class act. He's a multiple TT winner, as is Dean Harrison, albeit it's been a lot longer since he stood on that top step. Will that bit of hunger drive him forward on that Honda over the mountain for this final lap? We did see how quick he was from the top of the mountain down. Can he do that again?
Yeah, on lap number 1, made up big chunks of time, and particularly in that short sector at Crontamona to Grandstand. On board here through Stella Maris, and you get an idea of how low the sun is and how dark it is underneath the trees for Ian Hutchinson. There you go, Harrison just short shifting on the exit from the hairpin to not get too much wheel spin. They are willing him on at the side of the road. This will be an enormously popular win if he can do it. He's 5 seconds up the road from Davy Todd. Don't forget he lives on the island now. While most of the people in the hedges have travelled quite some way to get here, there'll be plenty of Manxies out there cheering him on as well.
I tell you what, it usually takes a couple of generations before you're regarded as Manx, but I tell you, his 2 years will be more than enough for him to be classed as Manx if he can win this race, Andrew.
Absolutely, absolutely. Todd and Dunlop through the bungalow now. What's the split? It was 5. We're waiting for that to come up as we pop back to the heaven to see Harrison. It's 9.3. Harrison has smashed them up the mountain. He's taken 4.3 seconds off them. Surely this one is in the bag now for Harrison and the factory Honda team.
Andrew, it's not in the bag until he crosses that line, but it's his to lose from now with a gap like that with only miles to go. Will we see Honda? This will be sensational. I cannot believe how excited both Dean and Team Honda will be. This will mean so much to that Honda team. 2015 was the last time in an official Team Honda entry won a TT.
P1 plus 9 is held out to him. He will know now that he's just got a few corners to go to get it done. Hillier further back on the lap. Look at the focus, barely blinking now. But it's all about the man up the road. Everybody will be waiting to see who comes out of the dip and onto Glen Crutchley Road in P1. Davy Todd out of Cricknabar. 9 seconds is too far, but as Cameron said, anything can happen at the end of that. Todd won't give up. He'll know there could be a mechanical. Dean Harrison will not be rolling off. He's got to press onto the line.
Yeah, Davy Todd was pushing. You see those green flashing lights, revving the bike to absolute maximum in every gear on his way down towards Brandish.
Harrison with just the super slow out from the nook into Governor's Dip. Round the left-hander now, just don't drop in on the damp patches. Crank it over to the right-hand side, roll on the throttle and up through the gears. The factory Honda team will be on the top step of the podium again. Dean Harrison, who now resides on this fantastic island, takes his 4th TT win and his first since 2019. A dominant victory by Harrison. 9 seconds up, 10 seconds up the road. Brilliant stuff by Dean Harrison. Slows down on the entry road to take the plaudits from an adoring crowd. That is a popular win here. Davy Todd P2, Michael Dunlop P3, but Honda have the pace with the Superstock.
We can still hear the cheers going, Dean. You are the 2025 Race 1 Superstock winner. We know how hard you've been fighting for that win. Just how hard was the race for you?
No, honestly, I got the hammer down from the start and sort of rid my pit boards, and I got P1, I think, the first, and then P2. And I just really dug deep. The bike looked really good. I changed a few things for that then, and the kit stuff on the bike works so well, and we've just been dialing it all week. And I've been third, I've been second, so now I've had a 3-2-1 now. But no, to get another TT win is just magic. Honestly, I can't thank the team enough. They've worked hard all week, and we've been up and down and tried all sorts. Honestly, it's unbelievable. So no, to pay them back with a win is just fantastic.
And you've got Honda's first win in over a decade. We saw that the team were ecstatic. So how does that feel?
No, honestly, them lot being happy makes me happy. So no, honestly, I can't thank them all enough. And just, it's been a long time coming. Now 4 times the TT winner, which is a big thing for me. And everyone's been like, I've been second there. So now to Brett, they don't get a win. It's like, good. So I'm over the moon.
I was a bit sloppy on that second lap. Just that short race makes you think you ride hard for some reason. So we were a bit messy on that second lap. Caught a bit of traffic, and we got some work to do on the bike. We came in with a plan to have 2 stockers, basically a stocker to ride in the superbike class, so it'd be the 2 bikes the same. And that really didn't feel the same there. So we got some work to do with the electronics a little bit and dial it in. I know we can get some more out of it and be faster in the second race, so I'm looking forward to that.
In fairness to Dean, fair play to him. I knew he was going to. Dean would be the first lap out of the crate. We knew that. Everybody knew that. My first lap was horrific. Obviously, we just not knowing when the bike was blipping and when it wasn't blipping. And then it's just when you use the clutch and it does blip, it sort of sends it off a wee bit. But no, look at the bike was had its issues again. Probably lap time probably didn't help us, but no, it was just 2 lap races that don't really they don't really struggle a wee bit with them.
Brilliant scenes. Dean Harrison, such a popular winner here, Cam, not just because he lives on the island nowadays, but he's a really likeable guy and he puts his heart and soul into his racing.
He certainly has, this TT. We've seen how hard he's come out of the blocks every race, just pushing so hard, never letting up to the finish. He's had like 32 podiums, but just 3 victories prior to this one, so now that 4th victory, it must be sweet.
We said before the start, the way that he attacks a 2-lap sprint could be crucial, and it turned out to be the case. He was unreal out of the blocks.
We just about jumped out of our seats. We saw that first sector time when the others came through and he'd already pulled such a buffer. I don't think anyone really saw that coming, and but 2013 was Honda's last win in the Superstock class, so definitely wasn't on the favourite machine heading into that one.
Yeah, it'd been such a long time. I was surprised actually how long it had been since Honda had that success, and you could see what it meant to Javier Beltran, the boss, and the whole team.
Yeah, the excitement post-race was incredible, and it's so good, and it's good for all the other Honda competitors too, because they'll be spurred on to see the Honda can win in that stock class.
And it bodes well for Dean as well for the rest of the week.
It certainly does. I mean, he's no longer the Nearly man, and now he's had that win, the confidence is just going to build. We always talk about how it's all about confidence going well here. He's had a race on each bike now, and to build on that, and with those first sector times, I think the competition are going to be thinking a lot more about Dean Harrison than they were earlier in the week.
Yeah, well, he's got Superstock Race 2 to look forward to, hasn't he, as well as Supersport Race 2 after being on the podium in Race 1, and it really starts to tee things up nicely as well for the senior on Saturday, where Dean is definitely going to be a contender. After the break, we'll bring you up to speed with the latest action on 3 wheels. Welcome back to the Alaman TT Races 2025. Time now for Race 1 action in the 3-wheeling media sidecar race. And Tom Birchall, 14 times winner of the TT here alongside myself and Cam. It's shaping up to be a cracker, this one, Tom. Not so much because of the competition out there per se, but the sheer speed and quality on show from the Crow brothers.
It's pretty unbelievable to watch the guys. They are gelling so well, and the changes that they've made to that bike over the winter have clearly worked. I mean, 120.2 mile an hour in qualifying is no mean feat.
Unfortunately, Cam, the lads who were most likely to push the Crow brothers today were Fownes and Walmsley. They've had an off in qualifying and they're not fit to start.
Yeah, that's a big disappointment for everyone involved, none more so than them. But at least at wide open now, it looks like we're going to see an outfit on the podium that's never stood there before, and that's really exciting in itself. And there's a lot of riders in that next group down, lap time wise, that are battling amongst each other. So we're still going to have a race on our hands.
Yeah, and of course, I mean, you've retired, Tom, but your brother's still out there, Ben, still pedalling and fighting for podiums.
Yeah, well, we know Ben's form. 120.6 mile an hour man, 14-time TT winner, still the lap record holder.
Yep, lots of interest in this one then. Can Ben make it back onto the podium, and will that lap record stand at the end of this one? Let's find out with Andrew Colin.
Our first sidecar encounter of 2025 away from the line. Last year's double winners, Ryan and Callum Crowe, just looked so strong this week. And then, of course, it's Ben Birchall and his new passenger, Patrick Rosny, followed by Lee Crawford and Scott Hardy on the number 4 machine. You're on board with Birchall and Rosny as we blast down Bray Hill for the first time in the chairs, as they're known, Cam.
Look at that onboard angle, just shows how little ground clearance they got, let alone the suspension travel. It is minute compared to a 2-wheel motorcycle.
Ryan and Callum Crowe, Cameron, we've been watching all week their speed. It's brilliant to see Birchall getting on so well with Rosny. It's another new relationship and they've been working on the speed together. You have to build up as a partnership, but these two, them and the machine just look incredible.
They're taking it to the next level. Only a few years ago we couldn't even comprehend a 120 mile an hour lap. This pairing have already done that in qualifying.
Yeah, unbelievable. Absolutely stunning, it really is. So the Crows leading at Glen Helen.
And of course, Patrick Rosny, new to the pairing with Ben Birchall. It'll take them time to build that relationship.
Crawford and Hardy through Glen Helen. They slot into P3. This is Todd Ellis and Emmanuel Clement.
Yeah, really exciting partnership last year. Almost ended up on the podium as newcomers. While they crashed out of the second Sidecar TT. Kieran Clark, Andrew Johnson, another exciting pair of newcomers. Being quickly caught by the more experienced Ellis and Clement.
And then on the number 12, that's George Holden and Mark Wilkes. They are currently sitting in P6. Back goes to Birchall and Rosny. Bottom of the Garrow in these machines is impressive, to say the least.
On board, Crawford, Hardy. Oh, just have a look at the physical effort that passenger has to make on the grab handles, foot positions, brakes in themselves, every change of direction, every impact on the course. Can't imagine how rough that would be going through the bottom of a Garrow with about 50 mil of travel in the suspension.
Just, yeah, hard on both driver and passenger. Ellis and Clement looking for a way through. Now, one of the reasons this year, Cam, that qualifying was done based on pace was to try and avoid them having to overtake out on course, because it is hard in the sidecars.
It is, but there was Ellis and Clement up the inside in a Douglas Road corner.
Up through Stella Maris for the Crows, 20 seconds up the road, look, and in P2 it is Blackstock and Lawrence at the moment. Birchall and Rosny sitting third. Ben Birchall clicking down the gears, running over the curve on the left. Fascinating to watch the different riding styles, isn't it? Or driving styles, even with the sidecars, where some of them lift the inside wheel, some don't, all to do with the way that the chair has been designed.
That's right, Andrew. We see Ellis and Clement, the more experienced partners, giving Clark and Johnson a tow. They'll be teaching them as they're leading them. Now, part of the job of that passenger is to get over the back tyre to help get traction. And you can hear just the revs spiking as that back drive wheel bounces off the road.
Clark and Johnson, oh, look at that. That's what we're talking about in terms of whether they lift a wheel over the curb or not. It's all to do with the configuration of the engine, whether it's laying down like it is in the Birchall machine. Crow and Crow, 32 seconds up the road at the bungalow. And now coming through Cronknamona towards Signpost. This is an incredible first lap. Up there, they will know they are miles out in front.
We knew they had the pace to win this race comfortably if they chose to do so. We thought they might hold back. We always talk about winning at the slowest possible pace, but if they're feeling good, you have to think maybe they're going to have a crack at the outright lap record.
Could be on. Look at that, bracing yourself across.
Lee Crawford, Scott Hardy, he may be a newcomer passenger to the TT, but you wouldn't think so. Look at that skill as they just brush cut the grass on the inside of the turn. Thank you very much.
On board with Ryan and Callan Crow, well into lap 2 of this 2-lap encounter, the 3 William Media Sidecar TT Race 1.
And they are simply flying, heading towards the top of the Garrow at speeds that no one has ever taken this course at in a 3-wheel machine before.
It's mad, isn't it, when you think the Birchall brothers only set the 120 lap in 2023 for the first time. They then went 120.6. And last year, of course, it was their first ever win too. It's, oh no, Blackstock and Lawrence off the throttle. That sounds sick. So Blackstock and Lawrence are going to drop out. What a shame for them.
Yeah, bottom of Garrow, and they are pulling up off the road, getting out of the way. That's
nicely done. They managed to clear it off the racing line. Fully lit, absolutely on it the Crows are as they come through towards Ramsey Hairpin. Crowd waving the programmes from the side of the road, late on the brakes, get her turned in. You'll see here the passenger hanging super over the inside line, bit of wheel spin on the exit.
Yeah, it won't bother these boys that they've got over a minute in the lead. They are still charging on. They want more than just the TT win. They want a new course record.
Birchall and Rosny not able to match that pace out front, but still learning as a partnership together. And then Crawford and Hardy coming through now, sitting in P3. Brilliant job by them. Here we go. Watch the contrasting style here up at the bungalow. They don't cut over just a little inch off the ground for the slick tire on the inside of the chair. And now tucked in that passenger. I spoke to the physios, Cam, down in the start grid area, and they were saying the people they deal with the most are the passengers. Strapping, padding, constantly helping them fix themselves after getting beaten up on these machines.
And you can see why. I think that's Lewis Blackstock and Oscar Lawrence are back out on course. Great news. But what have we got here? Ellis and Clement They have been passed by newcomers Clark and Johnson. That is quite incredible.
So they've gone back past them, because they passed them on the first lap, and they've gone back the other way. Birchall and Rosny through Bungalow now. And yeah, watch it, watch Rosny look, just tucked in as low as you can get for that slipstream effect.
Well, Ben Birchall is a current lap record holder. He won't want to lose his record. He'll be oblivious to what's going on with these two brothers ahead of him.
Callum and Ryan Crowe. This part of the course is tight enough on a solo, but it's even tighter in a sidecar. Listen for the wheels spin as they peel out on the exit here. Leaning over to the inside line one more time as they come around the right-hander onto the start-finish straight. We'll keep an eye on the timing screens. What are they going to do? Oh, he reaches out and pats his brother on the back as they cross the start-finish line. Are they going to set a new lap record? It's a 121, 121 miles an hour for the Crowe brothers as they take the win in sidecar race 1. Ben Birchall P2, it's Patrick Rosny, his passenger's first podium finish, along with both Lee Crawford and Scott Hardy. Fantastic results for them all.
Yeah, Ryan and Callum Crowe, you've defended your 2024 titles with a win, but also an astonishing 121 mile per hour lap record. You're shaking your head there, Callum. Can you believe it?
Oh, I'm shaking my head in disbelief because it felt so nice. Everything was working so good, and honestly, I thought it was just perfect. The whole race was absolutely perfect. It was awesome.
Did you know that you had such a comfortable lead? Did you know you were going to go so fast, Ryan?
I did see the pit board, and I thought, you know, yeah, I've got a lead, but it was singing, it was loving it, and we were loving it. We were in tune, and we just let it flow. And you know, I knew the first lap was going to be good, but I didn't think it was 121. You know, it's that windy up on the mountain. It was struggling to pull itself up, but then again, if it's windy going up the mountain, it's got to be faster coming across the opposite direction. So, yeah, no, it's been a perfect TT so far.
Wow, sensational performance from the new superstars of sidecars. Tom, just sum up that performance for us, would you?
Mind-blowing, mind-blowing. I mean, you know, they didn't have to push. They had the race under control from the beginning. But it just shows that, you know, two guys working so well, the sun's shining, and, you know, you just get in that groove, and the lap time came. It didn't look like they did anything that they didn't need to do, but it just appeared. To do 121 mile an hour lap is impressive, and I know what a 120 mile an hour lap feels like, you know, so hats off to the guys, and wow.
It's something special to watch, Cam, as a fan, seeing a sidecar outfit like that, so well turned out, performing to such a high level, but with two guys on it that are so in sync.
It's the fact that the outfit's basically built here and developed on the Isle of Man itself. I mean, they're local lads. It's a beautiful story, but to be leading here by over a minute and still push on that hard, it really just goes to show their confidence is absolutely brimming.
Going into race 2, they can build on that. They've got some confidence now.
And we'll have that for you later in the week. Join us again tomorrow night, same time, as the Isle of Man TT Races 2025 continues.